news, live analysis, expert discussions on trend.
The best way to predict the future is to create it. And that's a quote by Peter Joker. Time is precious, time is money, and this is the time for Money Talk on Atlantic Television Network. Good day, viewers, and welcome to a fresh episode of Atn Business on Atlantic Television Network right here in the city of Port Harcourt. This is a network's medium of bringing the happenings in the economic sector of our society to our discerning viewers. This program is aimed at bringing to the doorstep of viewers the business, financial, and economic activities from all strata of society. Its delivery is accentuated through the various stock exchanges across the world, news about government economic activities, private sector business activities, laced with expert opinions, stakeholders analysis, and correspondence reports. Headlines. FG Chinese firm sign MOU. VAT rate remains 7.5%. Investors in NGX shares 83 billion naira. Week starts on a positive note. By the end of the show, you can be rest assured of being informed accurately of financial activities around the world. I am your host, Wendy Aguma. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll allow the details. Don't go anywhere.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Welcome back. Now let's go into market reports, local and international business news for today. Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike has signed 2 memoranda of understanding with the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation and the China Geoengineering Corporation Overseas Construction Group to enhance the lighting of the Federal Capital Territory and boost improved rural water supply. A statement issued in Abuja by the Director of Press in the Office of the FCT Minister, Anthony Ogunleye, said the MOUs were signed in Beijing, China, during Wike's visit with President Bola Tinubu for the Forum of China-Africa Cooperation Summit, and the projects outlined in the MOUs are set to be completed in time for the 50th anniversary of the creation of FCT. The minister said the initiatives are aligned with President Tinubu's agenda to bring positive changes to the FCT, adding that under the agreement, China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation would handle the lighting of key areas including Maitama, Asokoro, Wuse, the Central Business Area, Airport Road, and Bill Clinton Drive, and also manage the lighting projects in Mabushi, Katampe, and Garki districts. In addition to the lighting project, Wike addressed the provision of water while also highlighting the progress on the Greater Abuja Water Works project, managed by China Joe Engineering Corporation Overseas Construction Group, which is nearing 75% completion, and expressed optimism that the project will be completed by December. Wike also announced plans to extend water supply to rural areas, including Gwangwalada, Kwali, and Kuje, through a new MOU with China Joe Engineering Corporation based Overseas Construction Group, and underscored the President's directive to not only focus on the city but also to address the needs of rural communities. U.S. Agency for International Development has declared $6.5 million grant to the International Organization for Migration to address humanitarian needs caused by recent flooding across Nigeria. A statement issued by the USAID said the funding was aimed at aiding local partners in responding to flood-related crises and other disasters, adding that it will enable local partners to respond to flooding and other disasters, while International Organization for Migration is allocating $3 million to address flood-related humanitarian needs across the country. According to the agency, of the total grant, $3 million will be allocated by International Organization for Migration specifically to address the immediate needs arising from the floods, which have impacted about 619,000 people across 29 states since mid-August. The National Emergency Management Agency disclosed that the flood has resulted in 210 fatalities, displaced nearly 228,700 individuals, and damaged more than 84,800 homes this year, and pledged nearly $100 million in total support to Nigeria to address the urgent needs of those affected by disasters, including the recent floods. U.S. Admission Director Melissa Jones remarked that the United States remains steadfast in its commitment to assist the people of Nigeria as they confront the challenges posed by climate change and increasing natural disasters, while the long-standing partnership underscores dedication to providing humanitarian aid and support nationwide. Chairman of Taiwan External Trade Development Council, James Huang, has urged Taiwanese and Nigerian businesses to collaborate on enhancing manufacturing investment and boosting trade growth between two countries. Speaking at the Taiwan Technology Day in Lagos, he stressed on the importance of cooperation, particularly in areas such as technology, petrochemicals, and green energy, and highlighted Taiwan's potential as a key partner for Nigeria, citing the growing volume of trade between both countries. He also said Taiwanese companies were being encouraged to establish manufacturing operations in Nigeria, and acknowledged the challenges in Nigeria's business environment, particularly with electricity. Hong expressed optimism that solutions were being discussed. He also revealed that Taiwanese companies were being encouraged to establish manufacturing operations in Nigeria, while the Director General of Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Olushola Obadimu, said Taiwan's interest in Nigeria presented a significant opportunity. In his remarks, the President and Chairman of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Gabriel Idahosa, stressed on the importance of technology-driven partnerships, said Nigerian businesses depend significantly on Taiwanese technology and their interest in sectors like oil, gas, adding that entertainment would only deepen trade relations, while the initiative will remain as a step in creating more collaborative opportunities between nations. National Board of Technical Education has inaugurated the Sector Skill Council for Engineering. Executive Secretary of MBTE, Professor Idris Baguje, who disclosed this during the 32nd Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria Assembly held in Abuja, recently described the inauguration as a historic moment for the engineering sector in Nigeria, while highlighting that the Sector Skill Council for Engineering was joining 19 other Sector Skill Councils already established in the country's skills ecosystem. He also acknowledged the significant contribution of the Vice President in fast-tracking the progress of the National Council on Skills, under which the NSQ operates, adding that a major challenge identified by the SSC4E was the need to reposition the engineering workforce structure in Nigeria. According to Bugaje, the current workforce pyramid is upside down, deviating from the International Labour Organization standard of 1.1:5 for engineers to technicians and artisans, and one that if that imbalance was not addressed, Nigeria will continue to rely on imported skilled labour from countries like Benin, Togo, China, and India, as seen in various ongoing national projects. He also stressed the importance of engaging the informal sector in formal training programs and highlighted the significant role informal marketers and workshops play in Nigerians' economy, which is 75% informal, and appealed for the separation of powers between training providers, awarding bodies, and regulators in the engineering sector. Minister of Solid Minerals Oladele Alake has hailed the $1 initiative iron ore to the steel project plan for Kogi State as a breakthrough in the federal government's push for local value addition in sector. The project, a collaboration between Nigeria's Chart and Capstone Integrated Limited and China's Sonameki, marks a pivotal step in the federal government's drive to prioritize local value addition over raw minerals exports. Special advisor to the minister, Kehinde Bamigbatan, who disclosed this in a statement at a meeting in Beijing during President Bola Tinubu's recent visit to China, praised the project as a breakthrough in the government's effort to revamp the sector, adding that the new policy requires that applications for mining licenses include plans for processing raw materials locally, a move, like I said, will enhance Nigeria's trade balance, particularly with China. Commending the efficiency and transparency of the process, he explained that the projects aim to integrate iron ore mining directly with steel manufacturing, ultimately supporting Nigeria's industrialization needs, and also highlighted the need for tax waivers and holidays during the project's early stages to help navigate economic fluctuations and meet targets. Vice Manager of Sonameki, Hu Enka, expressed the company's readiness to commence the project and stressed their extensive experience in mining and steel sectors. Ogun State Environmental Protection Agency has sealed 5 industries for environmental infractions. The companies are Nixon Paper Limited and Longxiang Aluminium, both at the Sagamo axis of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, New Shidai Manufacturing Limited, Mowe, in Obafemi Awodo local government area, and 2 unregistered companies operating illegally in the Ogere axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. According to a statement, the chairman of the Ogun State Task Force on Environmental Compliance and Enforcement, who doubled as a senior special assistant to the governor on environment, Farouk Akintunde, who led the enforcement team to seal the companies, said they were shut down after the Environmental Protection Agency received petitions from the immediate communities of their incessant discharge of untreated wastewater into the environment. Also speaking on their closure, the special advisor to the governor on the Ogun State Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Oluwadare Kehinde, said the company will now be forced, after several warnings, to abide by wastewater regulations in the state, which is crucial at preventing water pollution and maintaining water quality standard, adding that the agency will not compromise to demand from industries best environmental standard in all they do, as enunciated in the Ogun State Government Green Book, which contains the laws guiding environmental practices in the state. For the 2 unregistered companies sealed along with the 3 others, the special advisor said they must do proper registration with the state government and fulfill all the operational obligations before they can be allowed to operate in the state. National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has alerted Nigerians to the activities of delivery ministries led by Prophet Jeremiah Fufuyin, using the agency's name to deceive the unsuspecting public. NAFDAC, in a statement on Sunday signed by its Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, said none of the products advertised and sold are registered with the agency. Adding that the agency, upon receipt of the petitions, it contacted the Delta State Coordinator through the Director Post-Marketing Surveillance of the agency to ascertain the existence or record of any transaction with the Christ Mercy Land Deliverance Ministry and the product in Delta State Office. It added that in the document made available to the NAFDAC office on the evening of September 3rd, the faith organization claimed to have entered into a production contract agreement with Global Table Water KM4 DSC Expressway Otokutu, Delta State, without the knowledge of NAFDAC State Office in Delta State, and described the act as illegal according to the extant rules and regulations on commercial production. In continuation of the investigation, NAFDAC Investigation and Enforcement has sealed the Global Table Water Factory to aid and abate the production, sale and advertisement of unregistered and unwholesome miracle water under the pretext of fake NAFDAC registration number, and assured Nigerians of the agency's resolve to continue safeguarding their health. Labour leaders said the failure to transmit the reviewed labour laws to Nigeria's National Assembly for passage and had worsened the rise of the rise of casualization and precarious working conditions in the country. The leader said the legal delay had left many workers without adequate protections while exposing them to exploitation and job insecurity. The National Assistant General Secretary of Nigerian Labour Congress, Chris Oyeka, said numerous loopholes in the law allow different forms of precarious work to persist in Nigeria, and according to Oyeka, the issue prompted the National Labour Advisory Council as a tripartite body which comprises the government, unions, and employers, to explore ways to examine and improve labor administration laws to protect workers in their respective workspaces. He said they had left workers without promotion, benefits, or wage increases, exposing them to continuous exploitation, and stressed that precarious work was enabled not only by legal loopholes but also by the compliancy of those responsible for monitoring such abuses. And declared that casual work exploited workers and violated fundamental principles of human dignity. He contended that the Ministry of Labour was neglecting its regulatory duties, stressing that government should implement comprehensive labour reforms to eliminate casualization by mandating fair contracts, enforcing strict employment standards, and ensuring transparent recruitment. Pakomola Faye said casualization often violated labour rights. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, recently visited Wakot Rice Limited's advanced 250,000 metric tons rice processing facility in Agugun, Kebbi State, where he reiterated the federal government's resolve to sustain the growth in the agricultural sector. A statement said the visit underscored President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's commitment to strengthening local economies and addressing natural disaster challenges. Accompanied by Kebbi State Governor Nasir Idris and the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Atiku Bagudu, Edun toured the state-of-the-art facility to inspect the rice production processes in preparation for the upcoming wet season harvest, and praised Wakot Rice for its significant contribution to Nigeria's economy, stating that Wakot Rice has played a pivotal role in supporting thousands of farmers and contributing significantly to our national economy, adding that the facility represents a crucial part of the agricultural infrastructure. The chairman of Wakot Rice and vice chairman of TGI Group, Farouk Gumel, expressed appreciation for the visit, highlighting that it coincided with the near completion of the second phase of their rice mills, and its expansion will increase their capacity from 120,000 to 250,000 metric ton. Edu also stressed the federal government's proactive measures to address challenges in the sector, including a 3 billion naira allocation to each of the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory by the National Economic Council. Nigerians in the Federal Capital Territory are struggling to locate sales points for the 40,000 naira subsidized rice that was officially launched by the federal government last week. The launch took place on September 5, 2024, saw the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, flagging off the sale of 30,000 metric tons of milled rice at the subsidized rate of 40,000 naira per 50 kg bag. Speaking at the launch in Abuja, Kyari said the initiative was driven by the commitment of President Bola Tinubu to ensuring that Nigerians do not go to bed hungry, and acknowledge the various challenges that contributed to the current high cost of food in the country, including the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, climate change, and local economic factors. He assured the public that government has put in place mechanisms to ensure transparency and the smooth sale of the subsidized rice, and urged citizens to cooperate with the government agencies to make the initiative successful to achieve great initiative of the government. Kyari also stated that to ensure the distribution, the rice sales would follow a one-person, one-bag policy. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, has refuted reports suggesting an increase in the value-added tax rate from 7.5% to 10%. A statement signed by Edu clarified that the VAT rate remains unchanged at 7.5% as stipulated in the nation's tax laws, and explained the importance of maintaining a balanced tax system, stressing that Nigeria's tax framework is built on three key pillars: tax policy, tax laws, and tax administration. Edu reassured Nigerians that fiscal policies are designed to promote sustainable economic growth and alleviate poverty, not to hinder them, adding that government will use fiscal policy in a manner that promotes and enhances strong and sustainable economic growth, reduces poverty, as well as makes businesses flourish. He also highlighted recent government initiatives to ease the financial burden on citizens, particularly regarding food imports. Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has condemned the federal government's recent decision to increase the value-added tax from 7.5% to 10% and criticized the government for imposing additional financial strain on the Nigerians while describing the policies as driving the population into deeper poverty. Senate has postponed the public hearing for the alleged sabotage in the petroleum industry in tackling the lingering crisis in the sector. The leader of the Senate and chairman of the Senate Ad hoc Committee to investigate the crisis, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, made this known in a statement, said the Senate has postponed the public hearing for the alleged sabotage in the petroleum industry in tackling the lingering crisis in the sector. The stakeholders include the Minister of Senate for Petroleum Resources and Oil, Senator Heineken Labobiri, officials of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dangote Refinery, and the Nigerian Ports Authority. However, as an update, the Senate explained that the hearing was postponed to consult more widely with expanded stakeholders within and without the petroleum industry and legislative exigencies to further deepen due diligence in the conduct of the investigative hearing. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. And you can connect with us and watch us on ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Nigerian Stock Exchange lost $83 billion. 83 billion naira last week from 2 to 6 September 2024 as both the all-share index and market capitalization depreciated by 0.5% because of sell-offs in big stocks. In the week under review, the ASI closed at 96,433.53 points, while the market capitalization settled at 55.39 trillion naira. And despite the bearish trend, the NGX oil and gas index buckled the market's performance with a 1.52% gain. Further analysis showed that investors trade 2.14 billion shares worth 51.22 billion naira in 55,603 deals, decreasing from the previous week's 2.82 billion shares valued at 53,048 billion naira, traded in 50,488 deals, while the financial services industry led actively, accounting for 1.23 billion shares valued at 19.98 billion naira, representing 57.40% of total equity turnover volume and 39% of value. Data showed that the top three equities by volume were Access Holdings PLC, Owando PLC, and Zenith Bank PLC, and they accounted for 517.336 million shares worth 24.45 billion naira, traded in 15,502 deals, contributing 24.16% of total equity turnover volume and 47.75% of value. The bearish trend continued into Wednesday with 385.232 million shares worth 8.180 billion naira traded in 12,033 deals, 39 deals, and Thursday session saw a slight gain as 388.617 million shares exchanged hands for 9.565 billion naira across 9,897 deals, while in the last week 36 equities appreciated, down from 46 in the previous week, while 46 stocks declined higher than the 26 recorded in the prior week, and 69 equities remained unchanged. Nigerian exchange lost 83 billion naira last week as both the all-share index and market capitalization depreciated by 0.15% due to sell-offs in big stocks, while the market capitalization settled at 53.39 1.39 trillion naira. Dangote Refinery may resort to exporting its premium motor spirits petrol following the refusal of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to be the sole buyer of its products. The NNPC, in a statement by its spokesperson Olufemi Sonoye, said it would not buy Dangote fuel unless it was cheaper than that of the international market. This is contrary to claims by the president of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, that the refinery was waiting for NNPC to roll out its products, while NNPC said it would only fully take petrol from the refinery if the market price of PMS were higher than the pump prices in Nigeria. The NNPC also declared that Dangote and other domestic refineries were free to sell directly to any marketer on a willing buyer, willing seller basis, adding that it had no desire or intention to become the distributor for an entirety in a free market environment. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has urged President Bola Tinubu to instruct the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to immediately reverse the recent increase in the pump price of premium motor spirits, commonly known as petrol. A statement signed by its Deputy Director, Kolawale Oluwadari, Serap claimed that the petrol price hike is illegal and unconstitutional, and the petrol price hike represents a fundamental breach of constitutional guarantees and the country's international human rights obligations, especially as citizens face worsening economic hardship. Sarah has also requested the President Tinubu direct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fabemi and relevant anti-corruption agencies to investigate allegations of corruption and mismanagement within the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. The organization equally demanded that the President address its recommendations within 2 days or face legal actions to compel compliance, adding that Section 13 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended mandates overturn to conform to, observe and apply the provisions of Chapter 2 of the Constitution, while Subsection 15, Subsection 5 requires the government to abolish all the corrupt practices, including those within the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Nigeria Meteorological Agency has predicted rainy and thundery weather condition across the country starting from Monday to Wednesday. The weather outlook released in Abuja forecast isolated thunderstorm over parts of Sokoto, Katsina, Kano, Kebbi, Zamfara, Kaduna, Adamawa and Taraba states in the northern region during the Monday's morning hours, and there would be intermittent rain over parts of Niger, Benue, Kogi, Kwara State, and the Federal Capital Territory. FCC during the morning hours, according to NIMET, localized rains are anticipated and parts of Abia, Ebonyi, Imo, Enugu, Anambra, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Akwa Ibom, Ogun, Cross River, Rivers, Bayelsa, and Edo states later in the day, as well as anticipated isolated thunderstorms over parts of Borno, Bauchi, Gombe, Adamawa, and Taraba states during the morning period on Tuesday. He later envisaged isolated thunderstorms over parts of Bauchi, Gombe, Kaduna, Yobe, Zamfara, Sokoto, Borno, Taraba, Kebbi, Kano, and Jigawa states. According to NIMET, isolated thunderstorms with rains are expected over parts of Nasarawa, Plateau, and Niger states later in the day, and also predicted cloudy skies over the southern region during morning hours with prospects of moderate rains over parts of Abia, Ebonyi, Ondo, Imo, Edo, Rivers, Delta, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, and Cross River states later in the day. You're watching ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
back to ATN Business and Atlantic Television Network. And now to the rest of our stories. European stocks were higher on Monday, shrugging off more negative sentiment on Wall Street and in Asia-Pacific markets. The pan-European stocks 600 index was up 0.60% by 11:38 a.m. in London time, with the majority of sectors and all major bourses trading in green. Travel and leisure stocks led gains, up 1.64%, while tech was also 1.28% higher. Burberry shares fell 6.09%, leading wider declines across luxury stocks amid warning fortunes for the sector. The British fashion house was last week relegated from the FTSE 100 index following a steep decline in its share price of the weak demand. Shares in Kering and Hugo Boss were also down 3.64% and 3.07% respectively. The shift in a gear for regional market comes after a lackluster start to the new trading week in the Asia-Pacific region. Markets there fell overnight, with Japan's Nikkei 225 leading losses in the region after the weaker than expected U.S. jobs reports on Friday. U.S. non-farm payrolls rose by 142,000, missing a 161,000 gain estimated by economists polled, and the unemployment rate edged down to 4.2% in line with expectations. The data has stoked fears of a slowing labor market in the U.S. Wall Street is turning less bullish on tech darling ASML for several reasons. U.S. stock futures were lower on Sunday night following the tough week market stateside. The S&P 500 tumbled 4.3%, registering its worst week since March 2023. The Nasdaq Composite plunged 5.8% for its worst weekly performance since 2022, while the 30-stock Dow dropped 2.9%. There are no major earnings or data releases in Europe Monday. Leaders of two of the biggest unions have added further pressure on the government over its plan to cut winter fuel payments for millions of pensioners in England and Wales. Unite General Secretary Sharon Graham said the government should do a U-turn, while head of the PCS union Fran Heathcote said it was a misstep which needed to be put right. Paul Nowak, head of the Trades Union Congress, which brings unions together, has also said the government should rethink and consider other lines of support for pensioners. Sir Keir Starmer, who is facing a potential rebellion at a vote in the Commons on Tuesday, says the cut is necessary due to the state of the country's finances. The change will mean more than 10 million pensioners will no longer receive the payment of between £200 and £300 a year, which will now only be made to those on low incomes who receive certain benefits. Charities and many MPs are concerned that those still on a relatively small income who will miss out. The vast majority of those eligible will only receive the payment if they have first claimed pension credit, a state pension top-up. It is estimated that 880,000 eligible pensioners have not claimed it. Ms. Heathcote, the General Secretary of the Public and Commercial Services Union, raised the prospect of industrial action if there are government cuts. Mr. Nowak, TUC General Secretary, said he was really concerned by the impact of means testing winter fuel payments, adding that he expected the union to ask the government to rethink. The Unite General Secretary Sharon Graham told newsmen that the government needed to be brave enough to admit he had made a mistake. He accused previous governments of avoiding confronting the cost of the winter fuel payments. Chancellor Rachel Reeves has maintained the policy is a necessary move to fuel a £220 billion black hole in the public finance left by the previous government, a claim the Conservatives have challenged. But some Labour MPs have urged the government not to go further with the policy. Some 11 Labour MPs were among the 27 who signed an early day motion, former motion submitted for debate in the Commons, describing the plan as a bureaucratic and unpopular means test for pensioners. The votes will pass due to the government's sizable majority. Those opposing the planned cut are expected to abstain rather than reach suspension by voting against the government. In July, 7 Labour MPs had the whip suspended for 6 months after voting against the government's amendment to scrap the two-child benefit cap. Sakir, however, has not commented on the potential punishments for rebels ahead of Tuesdays. U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said on Monday it had opened a probe into about 781,459 Stellantis vehicles over a fire occurring while the vehicle's ignition was in an off state. NHTSA's Office of Defects Investigation has received a death and injury report and multiple field reports alleging incidents of fire in the engine compartment in model year 2021 to 2022 Jeep. The preliminary evaluation will assess the scope, frequency, root cause, and possible consequences of the issue, ODI said. China's consumer inflation accelerated in August to the fastest pace in half a year, but the uptick was due more to higher food costs from weather disruption than a recovery in domestic demand as producer price deflation worsened. A sputtering start in the second half is mounting pressure on the world's second-largest economy to roll out more policies amid a prolonged housing downturn, persistent joblessness, debt woes, and rising trade tensions. The Consumer Price Index rose 0.6% from a year earlier last month versus 0.5% rise in July. Data from National Bureau of Statistics showed on Monday, but less than a 0.7 increase forecast in a Reuters poll of economists. Extreme weather this summer, from deadly flood to scorching heat, has pushed up farm produce prices, contributing to faster inflation. China's affected crops due to various natural disasters totaled 1.46 million hectares in August, state media reported on Monday. Food prices jumped 2.8% on year in August from an unchanged outcome in July, while non-food inflation was 0.2%, easing from 0.7% in July. Core inflation, excluding volatile food and fuel prices, was 0.3% in August, the lowest in nearly 3.5 years, down from 0.4% in July. The consumer inflation gauge was up 0.4% month-on-month compared with a 0.5% increase in July and missing economists' expectation of a 0.5% gain. China's yuan dipped against the dollar on Monday as long-dated yields hit record lows after monthly inflation data added to economic worries and calls for fresh easing. China stocks opens ended morning trade lower. In unusually strong comment, China's ex-central bank governor Yi Guang urged efforts to fight deflationary pressure at the bond summit in Shanghai last week. A national campaign to earmark $41 billion in ultra-long treasury bonds to support equipment upgrades and trading of consumer goods has proven lukewarm in spurring consumer confidence, with domestic car sales extending declines for a fourth month in July. Meanwhile, the Producer Price Index, PPI, in August slide 1.8% from a year earlier, the largest fall in 4 months. That was worse than a 0.8% decline in July and below the forecast 1.4% fall. Faltering economic activities has prompted global brokerages to scale back their China 2024 growth forecast to below the official target of around 5%. Thailand's annual budget cleared the final hurdle, with the Senate approving the 3.75 trillion baht, that's $110 billion, spending plan that paves the way for new Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra to roll out fiscal stimulus to jumpstart the nation's economy. The budget bill, which proposes a 4.2% increase in state spending from October 1st, was backed by 174 senators in the 200-member Senate on Monday. The lower house passed the bill last week, and it now requires a royal endorsement. This is where we wrap it up on this edition of ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. I am Wendy Aguma. We are open for advert placement, bookings, and commercials. Stay connected on ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Up next is ATN Politics with Ray Ken. Thank you for watching and good afternoon.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.